I'm a professional thumbnail designer and I've made well over 200 Gorilla Tag thumbnails. And I'm going to show you guys step by step on how to make this thumbnail you guys see on screen. So I already started on some of the thumbnail and my client Party Monkey wanted me to take inspo from this thumbnail right here. So what I'm going to do is just put this a little bit up and basically I'm just going to want to match my tree around. And boom, I found something that I like that I think is pretty close. And what I'm doing right now is adding a rule of thirds image. And if you don't know what a rule of thirds is, it's basically this right here. For this thumbnail, I don't really need it, but I think it's pretty good to use for like every single thumbnail, no matter what it is. But I use it so I can make sure the main focus of whatever it may be is placed correctly. And I didn't really like how the color or texture of the tree looked, so I changed them both. So right now, I'm just gonna change the camera angle because I don't feel too comfortable with it. And then also add a pose on the ghost guy. So I felt like it needed to have a more crawling type pose than rather standing. Now I'm really starting to get the pose down. Or I'm liking something like this, but I'm not too sure. So I think what I'm gonna do is just move the tree a little more closer to him. Now I think something like that. Now what I'm gonna do is also just move him a little bit more to the right, a little bit more, so like that. Okay. Now I'm really just starting to get the whole entirety of the pose down. I do like something like this. I'm gonna move his arm and stuff like that. And then in Photoshop, I can always make him look bigger. So I basically got the whole entirety of the pose down. Now I might change a little bit later, but right now I'm gonna focus on the monkeys. So usually I scroll somewhere and try to find a pose, but right now it's pretty basic and simple, so I think I can just do it. So after testing some different poses, I think this one I like the best. So right now my vibe for the back is basically to add some trees and make it look like a forest type thing. Now this looks perfect considering what I'm going to do in Photoshop. So basically this is the official render, so I'm going to ask if he wants any changes. So basically the changes that he asked for was to make the monkey a little bit bigger and the face blend in with the same black shade. But we can do that in Photoshop, so let's make the monkey bigger. So now we're done with Blender, let's import these into Photoshop. So right now I'm just fixing everything up and figuring out what I'm going to do for the background. So for this thumbnail, I was thinking to have red fog in the background. And if I had regular fog, the model will blend, or the ghost guy, so that's why I'm just doing that as well. And if you want to work with me, I'm going to link my Behance in the description. And that's where I present my awesome thumbnails. So now I'm going to do the change that he wanted, which was making the face more dark basically. And now to make him stand out, I'm going to add some highlights to him. So now I'm going to start with that dark looking fog background. Now I love using fog. I use it on every single thumbnail. And let me know if you guys like me doing these tutorials because this is my first time actually doing them. A big part of these thumbnails is really taking your time on it and not rushing. And now I'm going to add that whitish red type background just like this CJVR thumbnail. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go in with the small effects that make it look even better. And now I'm going to add some highlights on the tree so I can make them stand out as well. And I didn't really like the highlights at the top of the tree, so I made them look better. Now I basically have the background laid out. I'm going to fix some of the little details right now because it's looking a little sloppy. I also decided to add some of the blue fog so it blends better. And now I'm going to add some undershadow on the tree so it doesn't look like they're floating. I decided to add some camera raw on the grass to make the thumbnail come together more. So I'm going to do the same thing for the trees now. I'm going to add some undershadow to the ground now to make it look realistic, which is usually what I do for every single thumbnail. I'm going to shade the monkey now and try to make it blend in with the whole environment. I'm also going to add some highlights on the monkey to see how that looks and see if it stands out as well. The thumbnail's basically almost done. I'm going to add some more shadows and add a vignette to it. So this is what I have right now. I'm going to add a little camera raw to the monkey. I usually just play around with the settings and see what looks best. Now for this style, I'm going to want a texturized type look, so that's what I'm going to do. Now from the start all the way to the finish of the thumbnail, you guys can obviously see that a rig does not matter on the thumbnail. The only thing that actually matters in Blender is obviously posing, but definitely mess with the lighting. And how I could know that is because I made this thumbnail for Be Prepared, and as you can see, the thumbnail looks a bit wonky because of lighting. So right now I'm just experimenting on the heavy shadows to see what looks best. So now that I'm done with all the shadows, I can actually add the blood on the trees and make it more appealing. Alright, so I do like how the blood turned out. Now I'm going to add a little more camera raw filter on the monkey. I'm just going to do this so it can stand out more. Right now I'm just testing if blood looks good on his hat or if I should remove it. Now I did like how it turned out a lot, so I'm going to add some shading under his hat. So right now I'm basically done with the thumbnail unless he wants changes. But now I'm going to add the me text and the arrow to finish off the thumbnail. So usually I try to see what he likes and what I like. So for this thumbnail I just changed the arrow to yellow and white. So now for the final result, I'm gonna add some camera raw filter to everything. Now if you use camera raw the correct way, it could create this like glow on your thumbnail and just make it pop insanely. And I sent the thumbnail over to him and he actually loved it. So here's a little quick before and after, and I actually loved how this thumbnail turned out.